Today our topic is the biggest philosophical questions we may never answer. Life is full of mysteries, and some of these mysteries are so deep that even the greatest minds in history have struggled to understand them. These questions are not just about science or facts. They are about the very nature of existence, meaning, and our place in the universe. Let's explore some of these big questions and think about how they can inspire us, motivate us, or teach us to live better lives, even if we never find the answers. First, let's talk about the question of meaning. Why are we here? What is the purpose of life? This is one of the oldest and most difficult questions humans have ever asked. Some people believe that life has a specific purpose, like serving a higher power or fulfilling a destiny. Others think that life has no inherent meaning, and it is up to each of us to create our own purpose. The truth is, no one knows for sure. But this uncertainty can be a source of motivation. If life has no predetermined meaning, then we are free to choose what matters to us. We can decide to live for love, for kindness, for creativity, or for growth. This freedom can be scary, but it is also empowering. It reminds us that every day is an opportunity to make our lives meaningful in our own way. Next, let's consider the question of existence. Why is there something instead of nothing? Why does the universe exist at all? This question is so big that it's hard to even wrap our minds around it. Scientists can explain how the universe began, but they can't explain why it exists in the first place. Philosophers and theologians have debated this for centuries, but no one has found a definitive answer. This might make us feel small or insignificant, but it can also inspire awe and wonder. The fact that we exist at all in this vast and mysterious universe is incredible. It's a reminder to appreciate the gift of life and to marvel at the beauty and complexity of the world around us. Another big question is about consciousness. What is the mind, and how does it relate to the body? How can something as simple as brain cells create something as complex as thoughts, feelings, and self-awareness? This is known as the mind-body problem, and it's still a mystery. Some people believe that the mind is separate from the body, while others think that everything about our thoughts and emotions can be explained by physical processes in the brain. This question is not just about science, it's about who we are as individuals. It challenges us to think about what makes us us and how we relate to the world. It also raises questions about free will. Are we truly in control of our actions, or are we just following the laws of physics and biology? While we may never fully understand the nature of consciousness, this question can inspire us to reflect on our own thoughts and behaviors. It encourages us to take responsibility for our choices and to strive for self-awareness and mindfulness. Now let's talk about morality. What is right and wrong? How should we live our lives? Different cultures and religions have different answers to these questions, but there is no universal agreement. Some people believe that morality comes from a higher power, while others think it is based on reason, empathy, or social contracts. This question is not just theoretical, it has real-life implications. It affects how we treat others, how we make decisions, and how we build societies. Even though we may never find a definitive answer, this question can motivate us to think critically about our values and actions. It challenges us to be kind, fair, and compassionate, even when it's difficult. It reminds us that our choices matter, and that we have a responsibility to make the world a better place. Another big question is about the nature of reality. Is the world as it appears to us, or is there more to it than we can see? This question has been explored by philosophers, scientists, and even artists. Some people believe that reality is objective and exists independently of our minds, while others think that reality is subjective and shaped by our perceptions. This question can be both unsettling and inspiring. It reminds us that our understanding of the world is limited, and that there is always more to learn. It encourages us to stay curious and open-minded, to question our assumptions, and to seek truth and knowledge. It also reminds us that reality is not always what it seems, and that we should approach life with humility and wonder. Finally, let's consider the question of death. What happens when we die? This is one of the most universal and profound questions humans have ever asked. Different cultures and religions have different beliefs about what happens after death, but no one knows for sure. This uncertainty can be frightening, but it can also inspire us to live fully and meaningfully. The fact that life is finite gives it value. It reminds us to cherish every moment, to pursue our passions, and to connect with others. It encourages us to leave a positive legacy and to make the most of the time we have. These big questions may never be fully answered, but that doesn't mean they are pointless. On the contrary, they can inspire us to think deeply, to live intentionally, and to appreciate the mystery and beauty of life. They remind us that we are part of something much bigger than ourselves, and that there is always more to discover. They also teach us humility, because they show us how much we don't know. Instead of being discouraged by this uncertainty, we can embrace it. We can find motivation in the search for meaning, even if we never find the final answer. We can find inspiration in the wonder of existence, even if we don't understand why it exists. We can find strength in the struggle to live a good life, even if we don't have all the answers. And we can find peace in accepting that some mysteries are beyond our understanding. So, let's not be afraid of these big questions. Let's face them with courage and curiosity. Let's use them as a guide to live more meaningful, compassionate, and fulfilling lives. Because in the end, it's not about having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions and living in a way that honors the mystery and beauty of life.